All right, guys, it's official. Track test day once again. Unfortunately, Ricky and Billy are not here. Me and Randy are heading to the track to try and get some, test sessions in and see what we can get done with the starter. We have made some changes, and I kind of explained to you, some sensors, some shock sensors we put in the rear of the car, a little forwarding change we did, some shock settings we're gonna try. So a few different things we're gonna try and see if we could basically pick up our 60 foot. Should be a good day. Weather's pretty good. It is hot today. It's 90, 91, 92 degrees. So I told Ricky and Billy, you guys are lucky you're not here because it's blazing out. Hopefully it cools down a little bit tonight, so it should be pretty good. And man, we're looking forward to hopefully, going in the right direction. When we left the track last time, we were kind of moving in the right direction. We just needed to get a little bit more wheel speed in the setup, and we would pretty much, start chipping away at where we want to be. So only way to find out is to come to the track and try. So I told the guys, look, there's obviously no reason for you to fly all the way over here just for a quick test day on 60 foot 330. If things do start to come around, then I'll maybe try and do an 1/8 of a mile, but that is all I will do. So just a heads up from the beginning of this video, I will not do a full 1/4 mile pass, mainly because Billy isn't here. It is his car, and with all due respect, I want him to be here when something like that happens. Again, hopefully it all works out, and we're gonna do the best we can. Pulling up to our home track, gotta love Bradenton, and wish us luck, and I'll try and document all that I can. And last time we were just really caught up trying things and changing things, and just didn't video as much as I want. Today it's going to be a little hectic also because it's just me and Randy.
Here we go, get into the track, do some testing. Hopefully that 60 foot's there.
Okay, so we decided to test on the list race day, where all these guys, Cleetus and Boosted Boys, all the guys who are over at Bradenton are doing that list race. So it was a day that I said, hey, let's go take the Starlet and test it out. But that was probably a bad idea. It was cool because it was so packed, and a lot of those guys got to see the Starlet, but the track had way too many street cars, and it just wasn't set up for what we wanted to do. We tried all the changes that we did, but again, kind of didn't work out. But regardless, either way, we did learn some things. So we had a clutch switch go out when we got there. Me and Randy got there early, and we have to set the clutch switch because we, what did I change? I changed something else in the clutch setup. And when we started to realize that when you would release the clutch switch, the input was staying on in the Haltech. So when you would release the clutch switch, it was like delayed. It was like off, on. It was doing all kinds of weird things. So Rachel was coming over. She brought us a new clutch switch. We got that fixed, but by the time we made our first pass, it was like 7 o'clock. So check it out, that test day. And then I'll come back and I'll show you the log after the first run. here's the log from the first run. I hope you guys can see this. I know GoPros sometimes don't do the best at focusing when you're kind of close up, but I want to give you guys just an example. Okay, so yellow line here is RPM, red line is manifold pressure, which is right here, and then blue line is throttle position. So if you look, I narrowed this down so you could see this is just first gear and second gear. So what happened here is, actually I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. So I'll zoom in right there real quick, okay? So you get a better view of what happened on that first run. So this is throttle position. So basically this is when the car goes up on the two-step. Here is two-step RPM. Actually, I'm going to zoom back a little bit more. So right here, you have a better view of what happened. Okay. So here's the RPM coming up on the two-step, right? So if you come back over here, here is 8100. We two-step the car at 8600. So right here you can see 8521. Hopefully you guys can see that. 8521, 8501. The car is trying to hold the two-step. Well, here comes the boost, which is red, manifold pressure. So normally this car launches at about 26 PSI. That's the sweet number the car likes. And when we tested, when Billy and Ricky were here, that's the number we were targeting. We were having an issue where the boost controller was, I don't know, something was going on and we kept getting like 32, 34. The boost controller wasn't hitting our launch boost correctly. So what I did was I said, screw it. I took out a bunch of CO2 pressure and I finally got it down to like 24. So when we left that race, when Ricky and Billy were here, the car was basically hitting that 24, 25 pounds on the launch the way we manipulated the CO2. For some reason here, right off the trailer, we go back out. And I don't know if you could see that number right up here. It says 29.7, 30, 30.2. It keeps climbing. It does not hold the boost. I mean, you could see the ramp just continuously keeps going up. And by the time I rolled out, so this dip in RPM is where the tire hits and I let the clutch out. The car left with basically 32.8, 33 pounds of boost here. 8100 RPM, so that's when it starts to start moving the tire because it's bringing the RPM down. So why did the car try and leave with 33 pounds? We have no idea. It should have never done that. That's a huge jump, almost 10 PSI, 8 PSI, you know, from what we were targeting. So again, you saw in the video, it just blew the tire right out. And then after that, I tried to pedal it. So again, this blue line here is TPS, throttle position sensor. You could see where I tried to pedal it. I got back on, and then I guess I tried to do it more. And then my foot slipped off the throttle here. Then you see me get back into it. By then, the run was done, obviously. So I just wanted to show you guys what happened on the first run. And then I'll show you the second run after the run right now.
This Sunday is Run Day Sunday here in Bradenton Motorsports Park. This Sunday is Run Day Sunday. For Run Day Sunday, gates open at 9 and the
Smells like fuel and
The track is packed. Everybody's out tonight. Stella's reversing too. How did Dad do? Great. Was it a good run? Was it super fast? Who's the best racer?
Dude, I felt it second and third wheel pop a crazy wheel.
140/60.
That's rad, bro. 140/60?
That's what she. I didn't look at it, but.
What?
So I don't understand.
That's not right.
I don't think that was. I think something went wrong there.
Yeah, because he kind of took off and it did something stupid.
You stayed there.
Yeah, because
he went early.
Okay, there you saw pass number 2. A little bit better, but the track still wasn't. Again, the track was just not sticky in comparison to when we have gone on a normal test and tune night where there's not that many street cars, and especially on a private rental. So we're gonna go back. That's the plan. But let me show you run number 2 here. So if you look at run number 2, I'm gonna zoom into the launch area again, and then I'll put a couple gear shifts in here. But okay, so here red is now launch RPM, right? So we're at 85.59. This is when I rev the motor up. Yellow line is throttle position. So you can see here I'm 100%. Line is all the way to the top. And then here comes the boost again. So we really didn't change anything. I just figured something, maybe the wastegate diaphragm was stuck or it was hot that day. And we tested 2-step in the pits and it was fine. So it's kind of weird how these things happen, but something's not happy somewhere. But regardless, we went back out. I checked the 2-step before we went. It held boost. So here you see the boost line coming up, which is blue. We get to 8,500, and now we're only at 24.3. So now it targeted exactly what we wanted, which was 25. Look, there's the 25 number. The tire, here's a tire starting to move. The car held 25.3. You could see the, I don't know if you could see the blue line. Let me highlight that real quick. There's the blue line. You could see how it kind of maintained boost. What ended up happening though is, again, track was not sticky. The car spun the tire. So if you look instantly, the RPM just flashes up right here. Just a quick spike, and that just tells you we had wheel speed. When the wheel speed came in, I tried to throttle it to stop it. I got back on, I throttled it one more time, and then I made the gear changes. So first gear, we ended up shifting at 10,026. That was the first gear, first to second shift. By then, we were at 32 pounds by the end of first gear. When I pedaled it, you could see the glitch here, the blip in the blue. Every time I pedal it, you could see how the boost comes down. Got back on, boost came back up, pedaled it harder this time. Boost came down way severe. And then this is first gear, second gear, third gear. So that was the run we did. I should have backed out when it spun the tire first gear, but it's always good to get some data as far as what's happening when the car goes down the track. I only ran to the 8th. Again, first gear, second to third gear shift. I shifted at almost 9,500, and by then the car was already at 51 pounds of boost. So you can see, you know, even with targeting the boost we wanted, only 25 pounds, the track just wasn't there. So regardless, we're going to go back. You know, we did get some good information. The shock sensors were working. We did figure out that clutch switch was bad. What I think our problem is, and I was telling Ricky this, I think maybe the wastegate's acting up on us. So what I did was I had taken the wastegate off the car after the race, and I went through it. I tried to order a new wastegate. Unfortunately, tile wastegates are a little bit hard to get. We sell Turbo Smart now because that's just what we, you know, switched over to. Tile wastegates, if a customer wanted a specific color, you know, they came in purple, black, silver, blue. 9 times out of 10, you were at the mercy of whatever they had on the shelf. You couldn't get a color. Turbo Smart has basically fixed all that. You want a wastegate in a 45 and you want it in blue or black or red, they have it. So that's great. You can't beat that customer service. So again, I tried to get a wastegate, put it on, didn't fit. So I ended up putting back the old wastegate. I resealed it. I noticed that some of the fittings were loose on it. And I'm going to try it. We're going to go back to a private rental this time. No more test and tune Thursday, and see what happens. So I will keep you guys updated on the next test session. I hope that it's soon. And I'm looking forward to having better stats on what happened. You know, hopefully that wastegate control, we have to have that positive wastegate control on the launch. It's not as critical going down the track for the wastegate because it's just regulating boost. It's wide open. It just closes a little bit more, opens a little bit more to get the boost that you're trying to target. On the launch, it's a lot different, you know. For us, it's a big deal if it goes from 26 to 30. It just changes everything. How can you get consistent launches if things are acting up that way? You can't. So you need a target on RPM. You need a target a boost. Once that stays there, then from there you can go to suspension or go up 2 pounds a boost, lower the boost, you know, but you can't have one run where it goes 26, the next run it goes 32, next run it's 28. It's just not going to work. So I think the wastegate might be the issue. I did notice when I took the wastegate off the car, it did have a fitting on top that was kind of loose, so that's not good. So I cleaned all that up. Again, I siliconed the base of the top cover of the wastegate down to the base on the bottom. Diaphragm was not ripped, and put all the fittings on, resealed everything, and praying that, you know, this test day, since we don't have the wastegate right now, that it works out. I hope we don't waste our time. But hey, racing, you never know what could happen. So I will see you guys in the next one, and we'll go from there and hopefully have some good updates.